Hey and welcome, this is Retro Master Beater. This time I'm tackling Bully, Scholarship Edition on the PC, an updated higher graphic resolution version of Bully, which came out on the PS2 in 2006. Like Grand Theft Auto and other open world games, this gives you a lot of freedom to do a bunch of things within a context of certain things you're supposed to do to progress the story, but they let you do it kind of at your own pace. I love these kinds of games. This one's especially fun. Instead of shooting people, you just beat them up with your fists and feet. There's all sorts of additional things to uncover. There's vehicles to ride like skateboards and bikes. And there's all sorts of extra missions to do later on in the game. So, you know, the typical Rockstar game full of things to do. But just really quick, we're going to go through a few of the main chapters. So you're a very naughty kid who is being sent to Bulworth Academy, which is a boarding academy.
You must be the Hopkins boy.
Where'd you come from?
I guess one step shy of like a military academy, but you meet the head of the school, and he's a real jerk.
Uh-huh.
What? What?
I meant yes, sir.
Very good.
So that's your introduction to a rough school with, as you might expect, cliques and gangs and groups of people. So in the first chapter, you learn to make some friends. You also make some enemies. In a cutscene, you meet Petey and you meet Gary. And Gary explains to you what's going on at the school. So your first chapter is basically learning to get to know different groups of peoples, and you're going to be at odds most of all with the bullies. So the bullies have blue jeans and white shirts, and they like to terrorize the younger kids. And so you're gonna fight against the bullies. Eventually you get to go up against the chief of the bullies. His name is Russell. He's a big stupid guy, and you end up in a pit fight against him. And if you can knock him out, then you get the bullies' respect, and you get to move on to the chapter to the next chapter, chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called Rich Kid Blues. This time you're learning to make friends or enemies, more likely, with the rich kids, and their main hangout is the boxing club outside of the school. So after school, you leave the school grounds, go out to the community, learn the world starts opening up here, and you get to go to the community boxing ring and learn boxing. So I've always liked boxing games. This was pretty fun for me to do. And eventually you have a huge fight with the rich kids, and you become you gain their respect. So you see a theme here.
Who's the boss now? I can't hear you, rich kids. Who's the boss now, my waspy little friend?
The third chapter, Love Makes the World Go Round, is where you get to know the slickers. Wait, let me see there. Greasers, sorry. Yeah, so the third chapter is all about the Greasers, which is another gang. They tend to wear like the slick pants and hang out in the city, in another part of the city, more rundown, and you get to know the Greasers. You do a bunch of things with the Greasers, get to know the lady Greasers, and kiss one of them like you were to, you know. Let me just say a big thing of Jimmy's gradual incorporation into this world is learning how to date and kiss the different leaders of the different groups. So you have the hot girl at school for the bullies group, then you have the hot girl for the for the preppies, the rich kids. Then you got the hot girl, it's the greaser gang girl, and in every case, like it's kind of funny. You know you're doing well when you can kiss them and befriend them, and then you can, improve your stats or whatever. Anyway, so like anything, you have a big, huge boss fight at the end of chapter 3 with the greaser gang and earn their respect.
Then why did you do this? Why'd you fight? Just to prove you're tougher than me?
That's right. And don't you or your boys forget it.
Chapter 4 is a healthy mind and a healthy body, and other lies. And this is the chapter where you have to tackle the jocks. The jocks are pretty beefy, and they'll beat you up fast, and they'll beat you up pretty good. So the whole chapter has you doing some things that you become friends with the girls, the jocks' girlfriends. You become a friend to them, and then you are challenged by the jocks to different things throughout.
What's for me?
That's like totally grody!
the big boss fight here is pretty cool because you're defending the Bulworth Academy Observatory from the jocks coming in, and you have to shoot them down with these big guns, and not like real guns with bullets, but like potato guns. Yeah, potato guns. It's kind of cool. Nobody dies in this game. You just kind of knock them out. They roll around on the ground a little, and then you keep moving on. Anyway, once you defend your castle and become friends with the jocks...
That's right, losers! Yeah!
Chapter 5 is the fall and rise of Jimmy Hopkins.
Hey, Darby!
In this chapter, you're now the king of the school. You've got everybody friended. They're all got your respect. You're not just wondering. Nobody's trying to beat you up as you walk around campus. But Gary has ran away, and Gary's missing, and there's still something Gary's doing under scenes. He's become the real stickler in your side. He's actually been fueling all sorts of problems behind the scenes. And eventually, you're headed for another encounter with the great big bad, who is Gary. Now, you know, of course, through all these chapters, there's all sorts of missions. They sort of space out the missions and doing different things all throughout the different areas of the city.
Evening, sir.
You, boy! What do you think you're doing?
Nothing. What about you?
And it's a pretty big world. It's not like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption big, but there's lots to see and do. So it's kind of nice how they make you do different challenges in different parts of the town for each of these chapters. And I always thought that was kind of fun. But eventually you will encounter Gary, and you'll have to beat him in fisticuffs and win a battle against Gary, finally sending him once and for all to the principal's office and being expelled from the school.
You're expelled!
Prove your innocence and prove that all this crap was caused by Gary in the first place. Which, of course, leads us into the final end game, if you will, called Endless Summer. It's after you beat the game proper. Endless Summer is you get to just sort of have an open-ended scenario. You hang out and you finish all the submissions. You can keep going if you want at this point, although you've beaten the game. But of course, I like to keep going, do all the optional missions and races and jobs and vehicle stuff, and you will eventually get to 100% if you do everything. And of course, that's the extra goal beyond the first goal of beating the game.
That's what I thought.
And so I did that. I love this game. Tons of fun. The graphics are great. A lot of detail, a lot of places to go, a lot of variety. I love smashing the tombstones. I love picking up all the extra cards and rubber bands. The amusement park area was really fun with a bunch of mini games built into that. There's a few arcade mini games, which aren't very good for arcade games, quite honestly, but they're games within games. It's cool stuff, right? And I really love the overall theme of this, you know, in high school, fighting with your hands and getting like pea shooters and getting little slingshots to hit people, and then, you know, of course, beating up the jocks and the bullies and the greasers and all these people that were the tough guys in school. You're a pretty good little fighter, and you learn extra special moves from the guy out back of the school. I mean, really memorable game, a lot of fun.
It's the least I could do.
You can see I loved it and played through it, and I know this isn't totally a retro game. I mean, from the PS2 release, it's 15 years old already, amazingly, but hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys. Retro Master Beater, later.